Thank you for joining us today, everyone. Today's stream will be presented by Malakai030, and he will be going through prompt tinkering. I'll let him introduce the topic for today and take over on stage.
All right, then let's start, I'd say. So, hello and welcome to this new stream. This is my fourth stream today. I am, of course, Malakai from the German community. And today I'm gonna give you some more insight into how the AI really works. That's why I call this stream prompt tinkering. I will my plan for today is to show you how every part of the prompt affects the resulting image. And I will go a little bit into positive prompting and negative prompting, of course, and we will get to some really awesome pictures at the end of the stream. Like always, this stream is split into two parts. Part one is mostly me talking about stuff, and part two is where you can ask your questions and say what you have to say. And for today, I have prepared a line of pictures on which I will show you how this AI stuff really works. For this, I'm going to Dream Shaper, and yeah, let's start. We will start without any negative prompt, just to show you what happens when you don't use it and how far you can get without a negative prompt, and of course without prompt magic. I think I'm gonna do another stream about prompt magic. One point to say about it is mostly it is very good when you don't have a negative prompt. Then prompt magic does the work for you, and that's why we won't use prompt magic today, because I want to show you the effects of every single word written in the prompts. And here we go. We will start with a very simple thing. We want an illustration. We want it to be a portrait, and it shall be just a woman. And we will make him do it now. That's it. That's what happens when you tell him just to make a illustration, a portrait of a woman. We can, of course, modify what she's doing in the picture. So now we're gonna make her look at us. And now we got a simple portrait of a woman that looks at the viewer. And from here on, we can go anywhere. We can now let's add a style to it. Let's add romanticism. Romanticism is an epoch, an artistic epoch of Europe, mostly Germany, where the idea was to idealize everything that people painted or wrote. There are many poems written in the style of romanticism. Romanticism is much about beauty. The beauty of women, the beauty of life, the beauty of things. There are many pictures depicting nature, like trees and animals in meadows and stuff. And as you can see here, the AI already did the job for us. It idealized the picture of this woman, making her hair beautiful, making her skin clean and beautiful. Yeah, she got even a thin, pointy nose. And this is part of the idealization. And regarding her clothes, you can see this is typical for like the 17th and 18th century of our time. And Romanticism was exactly came up in this time. It was like 1800 and I don't know. And again, it was about beauty and idealization. Let's move on from here. Be aware that we up to this point have nothing wrote in the negative prompt. Let's add a background. Something simple. Forest background. And now we got a similar painting style, just with a forest in the background. Simple as that. Let's say I want her to have, okay, the flowers in the hair are really cool. I like them. And I want to have them more often in the prompt. And I want them to be daisies. Daisy in her hair. Let's see what he does. Now she's got Daisy in her hair. The painting style is still the same. It's just more, it's just the flowers now that will now stick to the image as long as it is written in the prompt. We can now, from here on, raise the quality of the picture by putting the ever-known masterpiece in it. And then you will see how the quality goes up. No, not in this one, but here in this one, the details are better. The lighting is somewhat better, and the background is more intricate. Now that we added the masterpiece to it, and we can go on from here. Again, this is just for you to see how every word in the prompt affects the result. Yeah, right. Let's say now I want it to be romanticism combined with fantasy style. And look what happens. Well, there's not much to see. This could be maybe, and mostly, because the romanticism and the fantasy style are quite similar regarding clothes and hairstyles. Do it again and see. Yeah, that's mainly the same. There's not much difference here. And this means that one of both prompt phrases is obsolete or redundant, you can say. Let's take this one out. Romanticism. And watch the change. There should be. Yes. Now it's much more modern style. As you can see, when you compare the face, the both faces, this one here is more like a puppet, a porcelain face, and this is much more realistic, much more natural. Yeah, just by leaving out the romanticism part. And still we don't have a negative prompt until here, because it did not seem necessary in any way. Well, this is a pretty good picture. Let's move on. Let's say I want her to, yeah, right. Let's make her not a woman, but a sorceress. That's a huge difference. We still are in portrait mode. I would say the painting style is basically the same, but the clothes changed, her hair, her skin changed to a more pale, a pale color, and of course her hair changed heavily. Yeah, as you can see, the fantasy style combined with the sorceress has a huge impact on the picture. Just for the test of it, let's leave out the fantasy style and make her just a sorceress with no defining style. Yeah, now he took out some colorization and changed the dress more to a typical medieval style. And this is a fail. I guess she's just a bit too far away, and he conflicted her distance to the camera, to the viewer, with the portrait style of the image, because the lower part of her body is in portrait mode. Yeah, portrait means the head up down to the upper chest of a person. That's the portrait format. And in the lower part of the picture, he tried it, but he also tried to have her at a certain distance to the camera, which is in this case would be a medium wide medium wide angle or medium wide shot. He conflicted them, and that's why this came out. This is a medium wide and not a portrait anymore. But this usually just takes one or two more generations until he gets it right. And now he already got it right. That's clear portrait. We got our sorceress with a beautiful dress, the daisies in her hair, the forest background, and this is still portrait. A little bit closer, but still portrait. And up until now, we did not add anything to the negative prompt, and we did not define her clothes. See how just the word sorceress affected her clothes. Yeah, comparing this picture, where we did not define a job for her, up to this picture, where we defined her working place. From here on, we can make her whatever we want. Let's say we want to make her a princess. What about a princess? Yeah, now she has a pretty expensive dress, but no crown. I think princesses need a crown. Here she has one. As you can see, the word princess already affected the decoration of her hair. When we hit generate again, we should see very similar results. Yeah, Yeah. Here he again tried to make her to give her daisies in the hair, but because she's a princess, he gave her this crown. Let's make her a warrior. I mean, I think that this is logical, yeah. When you put in a word that has no gender, you need to define the gender, of course, when you want her to be, when we want her to stay female in for our series, we will have to define her gender, because otherwise we will have a 50% chance that she will become male in the next picture. So now we have a warrior. Simple leather clothing, hair decoration, still daisies. I find it funny that he changed the color scheme so much. He made it look much more like pastel colors. Yeah, definitely less color when you make her a warrior. But I like the leather armor she's wearing. Now we will start to add some colors. Let's say I want her to be a female warrior wearing green leather armor. Okay, several problems. Problem 1, this is not leather armor. This is definitely plate armor. Here, the same problem. That's plate armor. Second problem, he conflicted the color that we used for her hair, with her hair, on her hair. This means whenever, and this is pretty usual, whenever you start to define the colors of clothes, you will transfer the colors to the hair and to other parts of the image. This will be much more obvious when we change the color to something that's less natural, let's say purple. Yeah, we got some slight purple ideas here on the plate armor, but now she has completely purple hair, and her weapon also carries some purple ornaments. The same here. Now the whole forest, yeah, is tinted in purple, which means that when you start to define any kind of color, you will have to distinguish between the color of the hair and the color of the clothes or any other part of the image that you defined. So from now on, we will have to define the color of her hair as well. Let's put it here. And I want her to stay brunette because I like this for this picture. Brown hair. Oh, okay. So now we are much closer to what we wanted. We have purple armor parts and brown hair. Really nice brown hair. And here you have still the purple color in the background without having defined it. That's again, that's pretty usual for the AI. it always tries to have a consistent color style of the image. And this means that when you paint one part of the image in one color, this color will definitely be in other parts of the image as well. This is the idea behind this is just to make the color scheme of a picture consistent. And as you can see, it looks good in this way. Even when we didn't want this to be, it looks still good. So now let's play a bit. We can go for the forest. And make it a lush forest. Oh, okay, this was a bug before. Lush forest means mostly that there are just more leaves and flowers and wildlife in any form, mostly plants. This is not bad. We got the forest, which is perfectly green. We got her hair, which is partly purple, which doesn't look bad, but we didn't want this to be. And we got her armor, which is purple, exactly as we wanted it. And I think this is leather. This could be hardened leather with paint and ornaments on it. Now another important part, or another interesting part. I want the lighting to change. I want it to be nighttime, and a very easy way of turning a picture into night is just not just saying I want it to be nighttime. Let's say there is full moon. Full moon usually automatically makes the AI turn the whole picture into a nighttime picture, because moon, yeah, is tied to night, which worked pretty well here, not so well here. It could be like a dawn picture, yeah, where the sun is going up while the moon is still where you can still see the moon at in the background. This one is much better. Here it looks like the sun just went down and the moon is going up. And now we can even do more. Let's say she is not only standing with the moon, but she is also lit by moonlight. Now we make the moon shine on her and see what changes. This didn't work out. Maybe we have to change something about it. Let's add something for the negative prompt for the first time. And as you can see, we now made all those pictures here, and none of the pictures have any major flaws. Yeah, no broken nose, no distortion, no mutilations or anything. And we did not do anything in the negative prompt. That's now the first time that I have to that I see something that does not yeah, a phrase that does not affect the picture, but I wanted to affect the picture, and that's why I put this in the negative prompt. And poorly drawn usually gives a good bonus to the overall quality of the picture. As you can see here, it's now much more detailed. It has much more the effect of modern painting than this one. Yeah? This is more comic style, looks more like comic style, and this is close to a render, I would say. It's really high quality. And still no major flaws. So this is maybe what you can take away from this here. You don't even need much written in the negative prompt to get good results. Personally, I use the negative prompt to exclude certain things. Not for the general stuff like poorly drawn hands, poorly drawn face, distorted, mutilated, and so on, but just for things that I see do not fit into what I want from the picture. So now we got this one, and this is already a pretty perfect picture. Really close. Let's try this again. This one is pretty good. Some distortion in the eyes. Yeah, and we won't talk about hands, I would say, because I tried really much for the hands, but nothing really works. It is still not the time for the AI to do good hands, and it even doesn't matter how far the hand is away from the viewer or the camera. Yeah, he still always screws them up. It's like a 10% chance of good looking hands. But this, I would say, is a pretty good picture. Yeah? And just one word or two words in the negative prompt. Yeah, Phoenix, yes, not even upscaling can fix this. This is just, the AI is just not ready to make good hands. Yeah, upscaling can fix small errors like distorted eyes, or when the mouth is not precise enough. That's where upscalings do a really good job, but don't use an upscale to try to fix hands. That's just wasted tokens. Yeah, and Cantox, you are absolutely right. The same goes for weapons. Which is still is some kind of riddle to me, because weapons, especially on fantasy style, are usually pretty just long, straight lines with a handle at the end, but still he cannot really do it. So what we learned now is that you can slowly but surely approach your image just by putting one word after another into the positive prompt. And my recommendation is to use the negative prompt only if you see things in your picture, in the results, that you really don't want to see. Um, I will go now for something, let's say, more spectacular. We will stay at the illustration part and clear all the rest. Let's make something abstract. I love colorful pictures, and that's why I'm gonna do some colorful stuff now. Let's stay at the portrait mode. A woman, long, wavy hair, and now the fun stuff. You should really try this. This is really awesome results when you do this. blended and melted in colorful paint and see what happens. See this? It's close to acrylic paint, I would say. And her hair is just transitioning into paint, which is a really cool effect. And this just happened with not more than this. This is everything we did. Let's take another step. Let's make her hair not only wavy, but even whirling. Let's see what happens. You see the difference? The hair even spread out somewhat and still transitions into the colors, into the dye, which is absolutely amazing. Yeah, Kentox, that's exactly what I wanted to show at next. Yeah, true. The style for the face even changed. It's more natural now instead of here. Blended and melted in colorful paint. Now we can do the following. Let's say in streams of colorful oil dye. Look at this. And you can, of course, go for anything you like. We could also do, instead of dye, we can try water. Colorful water. But I think we need a failsafe for these pictures. Yeah, now you can see small water splashes here and there. Or here, it even looks like she's underwater. Yeah, because of the dark blue background. And now we can, let's say, play around with the colors. Let's say colorful water is okay. But let's exclude some colors. I want blue, green, and purple to be excluded, so that only red, orange, and yellow stay in the picture. This reminds me of the Firefox logo. Okay, we excluded blue, but he still makes blue. The reason for that could be that water is included in the prompt, and water is usually blue. That's why he puts blue into the picture. We can double down on this, making it less blue by exclude more blue colors, like dark blue and cyan. Still some blue in it, but less than any other pictures. Look at the color scheme. Looks great. We can go even further. We can, let's say, blend it and melt it in. Yeah, let's do some fantasy stuff out of this. In threads of translucent, colorful. And translucent, colorful. So that's the right order. Threads of magical energy. Yeah, now you can see there are really threads of color, yeah, melted with her hair. And here, this is amazing. The clothes on her body looks the same as the hair and the threads that surround her. It's really amazing. Let's go further. When making pictures like this, you can make her standing in water. And see what happens. Ah. Okay, this is a usual thing that happens when the person is too far away from the viewer. You can see her standing in water, perfect, but her face is distorted. Here the effect is less, but it's still, you can still see it. But we can do something about it, at least to a degree. Yeah, much better here. And even better here. Look at the lens effect. We didn't even prompt it, but the AI did it by itself, and the colors are just amazing. Let's change the colors. Let's take out everything that is blue, green, and purple. And now we're gonna just go by the other colors: yellow, orange, red, and we will leave the rest and see what happens. Beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, sometimes, as you can see here, we come to a problem that is typical when you do not define any clothes and go for fantasy and abstract styles. Sometimes it gets to nudity. We can, of course, exclude this possibility by just adding nudity to the prompt, and then it's close to impossible. Beautiful. Okay, let's try another approach, another idea. We will stop blending and melting her. Now we will entangle her with it. Just to like, I don't know how to say it. So that the magical threads do not come out of her body, but instead surround her. Which didn't work too well here. I guess we need another generation. Oh, this is good. I think the reason why he tries to, why he always tries to melt her, why he still tries to melt her, is the combination of threads and her whirling hair. So it's easy for the AI to combine the magical threads and her hair. So just let's try this. Have a straight hair. And this should lead us closer to the other idea. It's less, but not perfect. Go for another idea. Yeah, why not try to go for the announcement picture? Long straight hair. Let's give her some clothes, like a black jumpsuit. And now we're gonna entangle her, not in magical energy, but in colorful lightning strokes. Here you can see he still tries to combine her hair with the magical energy, but this here works pretty well. And this is a girl you should not mess around with. I bet she's not friendly when she's angry. Let's just give it another try. This is somewhat better because now she has this jumpsuit. Okay, this is a white jumpsuit. And now let's go back for our colors. Include every possible color just to see what happens. The jumpsuit doesn't really fit the idea of the picture. I think, especially the belt here. This dress really looks good, but this dress is not too good. So let's change it to black. Yeah, why not? leather armor again. Make it thin. Oh, complete style change. Yeah, as you can see here, this is pretty much comic style, and this is already painting style, just because we added the leather armor. We can try to go back to comic style by adding it to the prompt. But I think that the leather armor is pretty dominant in that prompt. Comparing the pictures, yes, it is very dominant. Should be a hard job to get rid of this style if you don't want this and get back to a more comic looking style. I have one idea. This often works. Simple shadowing often works when you have a comic style, but which is too intricate for what is your purpose, for what is the purpose of the picture. Ah, see that? It did the job. The shadowing on her face, at least, and on her legs is simpler, much simpler. And here it's pretty good. This is pretty good. Now it looks much more like the pictures here. Yeah, just for comparison. And this is mainly it. This is mainly what I tried to show you. Look at the prompt. Yeah, the prompt is really short. There's not much that stands in here, and we only have 2 phrases in the negative prompt. That's it. And we got these pictures out of it, and they are really good. Yeah, what I tried to tell you here is when you tinker your prompts in the way I showed you, you can really make every word, every phrase in the prompt count. Because maybe you already noticed when your prompt is pretty long, it is entirely possible that the AI just ignores parts of it. And this won't happen, or at least it will happen way less when you tinker the prompts up to a point. Because then when you do it like this, you can see the effect of every word, of every phrase in the prompt, and in the effect of the prompt to the image. And this is what I highly recommend to do for everyone who tries to make complex and spectacular pictures like those. And this is mainly it. So I'm done with my program from here. So if you have still any questions, feel free to ask, and I will do my best to answer them. Let's play around a little. Go for something more complex. Thank you very much, Ariko. Let's go back for our sorceress. And let's let's go for this. Acoustic, do you have a prompt to make an avatar with a photo? Because I did with mine and went bad. Yes, I guess I think you wanted to transition a real photo into a generated image, right? Yeah. The problem is this is also a common problem of any AI. They are still not at the point where you can add a photo and make it into an artwork. This is not possible at this moment. You can get close to it by using image to image functions like edge to image and depth to image, but you will never get 100% your face. Ah, right, on searching. That's maybe a good idea. Add art by yes. That's also a good thing for experimenting, right? Um, when you may already have noticed that many people use a prompt phrase called art by, and then a name shows up. And if you know some artists you like, then you can, of course, put their art style into your pictures. Um, I would say we will do this with exactly this prompt, comic style illustration. And let's take a name who is pretty famous here. Art by Greg Gutfeld. Okay, let's go back to portrait. Um, not standing in water because that just makes her be too in too big distance to the viewer. But let's just say maybe ah, let's just take away the water. Now we do not have anything that defines her pose. And here you can see comic style art. And a different kind of shadowing in our picture. Greg Gutfeld, but is not a comic artist. That's why we're gonna take out the comic style thing and make it more look like his work. Yes, this looks more like him. Or we can go for some older guys. I am personally a big fan of Frank Frazetta. He was in the 70s a famous fantasy artist who influenced a lot of other artists. Yeah, look at this. The older guys here should be reminded of this style. Yeah, he was really a big deal in the 70s. He influenced games like Hero Quest and oh, I don't know even the name of this. Das Schwarze Auge, Black Eye. The earliest RPG games were influenced by his art. Yeah, right. Heavy metal magazines. You say it, Oriko. Or let's go for yeah. Why not? Why not? Why not go for Stan Lee? Yes, Kafka was an artist, but a writer. He didn't paint anything. So I guess when I put his name in this in the picture, we will see the page of a book. Yes, that's looks like Stanley a bit. Or go for Alex Ross, also a famous comic artist. Ah, yeah, right. And of course, very, very famous in our community. Here, the details and the shadowing is just great. And I see the reflection on the armor is amazing. It's typical for Alex Ross. He was very, very good at realistic painting. And of course, one of the most favorite of all times, especially here on Leonardo, and with the growing demand on anything that has to do with anime, is of course Studio Ghibli. Let's see what he does with this. Yeah, Studio Ghibli. Yeah, simple style anime. Simple but impactful. That's what I like about them. And we could go on for hours doing this, just with any picture, with any artist. Yeah, you can change the shape of the whole picture just by adding a certain artist. What I would recommend at this point is when you see other users in the user feed of Leonardo use certain artists, copy the name and Google it and watch what this artist has done already, and then you can see what effect using this artist has on your images. You can predict what the picture will be about as soon as you use a certain artist. On searching, yes, that's totally true. But I will give this to your experimentation hours. Of course, using different models also affects the picture. Using certain painting styles or artists of any way. Yeah, let's go for deliberate. Yeah, and see the difference. Yeah, really amazing stuff. And again, look at the prompt. This is everything we did for prompting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phrases in the positive and 2 in the negative. That's it. Thank you, I'm searching. Kolanji, how to know what model to choose? This highly depends on what type of image you want to make. Usually, Dream Shaper are very good for anything that is painted, anything that is colorful, vibrant, and glowing. Yeah. Deliberate is very good for photorealism and highly detailed three-dimensional objects. Or RPG is very good at photorealism and anything that has to do with fantasy in general. And Leonardo Diffusion is very good at three-dimensional objects, hyperrealism, and everything that has to do with dark and gritty themes. Is very good at making dark stuff. Yes, Cantox, exactly. Yeah, so just experiment your around. Yeah, find out what works best. And what always helps is to go to the user feed of Leonardo and just click on the pictures you see, click on the picture you like, and read through the prompts and see what they did there, and compare it to the picture you see. Yeah, always have a look on, do I see the phrases in the prompt in the picture, in the result? And this way you can learn how the AI works. And of course, always do your own experiment, do your own research on what works and what doesn't work. Yes, Azotane, exactly. Trial and error, that's the best. Uh, right, and I wanted to change some things here. I wanted to go for a certain kind of picture I really like. We wanted it to be a sorceress. Ah, blue, straight, brown, hair decoration. In a pond, in a vibrant pond, vibrant magical pond, wearing, take it easy, intricate dress, smiling, eyes closed, holding a glowing magical sphere, and surrounded by light sparks. Let's make this string shaper. I love it. That's really great. And as you can see, um, I didn't define a position. I didn't define a pose. I just told the AI where our sorceress should be in a vibrant magical pond. Yeah, not standing, not sitting, not anything, just there. And then the AI usually finds a good pose that depicts everything you wrote into the prompt. This one's good. I like this. And that's the fail. Look at the hands. Yeah, good colors, good glowing and stuff, and really great dress. But all this here, that's for the trash bin. Kalonji, usually there is no difference in between wearing a dress or just typing dress. That's why I tend to use as few verbs as possible, because the AI just doesn't need them. Yeah. So when you just say there is a person, and then you can just write in blue hair, braids, dress, um, necklace. Yeah, you do not need words like wearing all the time. Verbs are mostly good for when the person shall do anything, like her holding this magical sphere here. And then the AI will always make her arms go up and try to touch and make her try to touch this the object. Exodus, I do this most of the time. I know many other people don't, and even the prompt generator often recommends you to write whole sentences. In my experience, both works. Yeah, both approaches um, work pretty well, even. But this is still up to experimentation. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty fine with just tagging everything I want to be included in the picture, and I usually get to the point where I aimed at. But I already got a great result out of the prompt. A beautiful woman walking through tall grass. The light of the setting sun highlights her beauty. This was the prompt, and the result was brilliant. Yeah, the sun was exactly behind her and enlightened the outlines of her body, and it was great. So, all right, then I think we're done here. If you do not have any more questions, add art by Zorgi, please. Okay, then let's make it an artwork by Zorgi. Who's Zorgi? I don't even know what is this. All right. Okay, now I got it. I'm so sorry, Zorgi. Nictaman, can you recommend any place for getting started with AI art or art in general, like courses or something? Well, when you like to be introduced into AI art, you are right now at the right place. Yeah, streams like those are aimed exactly at this for beginners and for people who just want to get a deeper understanding of how AI art really works. Then you are perfectly fine sitting here and watching. And of course, the whole server, the whole Leonardo community is very, very helpful and very, very friendly to anyone who is eager to learn. So you are right where you are. What to do if the prompt is not showing in the picture? Then it's the right point to analyze your prompt and try to um, put in more words or take out words that seem unnecessary. Because as you already have seen, certain types of prompts have a lot of effect on the picture, like adding armor or adding a painting style, adding certain colors. Even a color scheme can have impact on the style of the image. This is up to your experimentation. Dead Paradise. I would like to do this style with Leo. Is it possible? It should be possible. It should be. But I must admit, at this point, I wouldn't know how. I would start with sketch. Yeah, being a sketch style painting. And try words like glowing, like illuminated, and like vibrant. Like a sketch style person illuminated by a magical flame, and then of course do something like holding a magical flame in the hands, and maybe the AI is clever enough to see what you mean. But this is a huge amount of experimentation needed, I think. But it should be entirely possible. Why not change something? 3D render. And what always when you go for 3D render, it always is good to even to as well go for volumetric lighting. Yeah, because volumetric lighting is makes every 3D render look much more natural and detailed. And look at this. Ignore the hands, look at the rest. Oh, my chat didn't scroll me down. I missed some of your messages. I'm sorry. Sean Knife, is this right? Is there a way to get just a style from an image to image, but not the poses or objects in the image? Yes, that's totally possible. If you want to if you want to have just the style and like the color scheme, um, put exactly this into the prompt. Put into the prompt what you want to have, and put your image into image to image and go for a low init strength, like 0.3. Then the AI is able to change the structure of the picture, but will still try to keep the color scheme and the style. Do you try something with particles or with camera mode DSLR? I don't know what DSLR is, unfortunately. But yes, particles, I sometimes experiment around with particles, but mostly with like light sparkles and water splashes for the most part. Yeah, why not give it a try? Why not have her standing in that pond? Um, let's get this away. And let's give us a huge water splash and see how this affects the picture. Yeah, because the AI is pretty good at particles. Okay, this is not a huge water splash, but still a good picture. But you can see here, this is definitely rendered water, which looks pretty awesome. In a huge water splash, surrounded by water particles. Let's give it a try. Ah, here, more water. And we have 3 arms here. Kaskami, can you remove the negatives to see what happens? Of course I can. Of course I can. The image should be simpler then. Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, the rendering is not as good as in the other 2 pictures when you take out poorly drawn. And what was the other one? Distorted. Yeah, because that's also one thing to note. When you put distorted into the negative prompt, this anti-distortion phrase counts for the whole picture, not only like the eyes or the face or the hair or anything. Huh? It goes for anything that is in the picture. And this means that the phrase distorted works for all pictures. Yeah, and usually puts up the quality of a picture by like 20% and more. Yeah. Kaskami, uh, again, this won't work. You will get 90% of the time of your tries. You will get poorly made hands. This has to do. I can explain this. This has to do that the AI, on one hand, works on a 2-dimensional level. Yeah, it so it takes every picture that was ever fed to it and looks at the structure of the picture, but on a 2-dimensional plane. Yeah, it does not have the body like in 3D imagination or something before making the picture. That's why that's why it's very dependent on how your hand is turned against the camera, how many and this determines how many fingers you can see. Like in one direction, when you put your hand directly on the camera, you can see 5 fingers. But when you turn it 90 degrees to the camera, you can see only 1 finger because all other fingers are covered by the first one. And when you turn the hand like 45 degrees and turn your fingers around a bit, then you can sometimes see 2 fingers, sometimes see 3. And that's why the AI cannot do good hands. Ah, yeah, right. uh, Johnny, you watch this video. This is a really good one. It perfectly explains why the AI has so many problems depicting hands in the right way. Yeah, on searching, that's a pretty good advice. Let's go back to this one. Go back to our small but very effective negative prompt. And one thing about the negative prompt, you uh, you can be sure that you will need a negative prompt mostly only for the depiction of persons, because on most other cases the AI does pretty fine, especially on things like cars, houses, or just trees and flowers and stuff. Yeah, all the negative prompts usually are aimed at making the person more detailed or having less flaws painted on it. This here is interesting. What is this? I like the dress. Again. Nick Kane, yes, this was a thought that I already had by myself. He says, makes me feel better about how I have a hard time Apple Pencil drawing hands in Procreate, knowing even computers struggle with it too. Yes, yes, that's the same. For every artist who uses pencils or brushes or anything, hands are always very, very hard to do. And it's fun that it's really fun that the computers have the same struggle. Yeah, Phoenix, that's a pretty good picture. I like it. Kalonji, this depends. Sometimes the upscaling can is able to fix small errors in the picture, like distorted eyes, distorted mouths or ears, and stuff like this. So it can be worth it. But there is always a chance that that the upscaling um, smoothes out some details that you want it to be in the picture. So what I would recommend is to try both ways. Like make Leonardo scale it up and see what happens. And if you are not If you're not satisfied with the result, try another upscaler. That's that's a good picture. Cantox, that's really great work. I think I might try pictures like those myself. And this will be funny experimentation. You are stealing my prompts. How dare you? How dare you? Yeah, right. Stealing pictures, never heard of this. Yeah, right, Nick Timman. Stable Diffusion was trained with totally legal acquired pictures. Yes, of course. 5 billion pictures. And all of them with certificate and and whatnot. All right, guys. I think I'm leave now. Um, thank you all for attending here. Thank you all for watching and listening. I hope all of you could take away something from here. And again, still feel free to DM me. Feel free to tag me if you want to know more. If you want to, or if you need more and deeper explanations on certain topics, I will always do my best to answer all your questions. Yeah. It was a great pleasure. And of course, it's a great pleasure to be in this community and being able to make streams like this because it's great fun for me. Yeah, I really appreciate this. And shout out to Ayu who makes all of this here possible. Yeah, thank you very, very much. And again, thank all of you for being here.
You're welcome. Yeah, I mean, I have to thank you for doing most of the presentation, honestly, and also everyone else has been doing all these streams. Always been fantastic having y'all do it. So much to you.
Yeah, of course.
Also, I'm so happy that so many people turned up for this one. It's just fantastic. Even though it's obviously like the weekend, well, weekday. It's mostly at night for quite a number of our European and other users around the world. Anyway, we should wrap up for today then.
Yes.
So,
And I'll
I see a single images.
leave you with this one. I love it. All right, then.
You want to drop them the prompt?
Huh?
Do you want to share the prompt with the audience, or?
Yeah, of course. If you want it, please. Yeah, feel free.
I think some of them might like it. Thank you, Malakai. Okay.
This is the prompt for this is the positive, and of course, the tiny, tiny negative.
Yep. Yeah, we shall be off then.
All right. And thanks again. Bye bye. I'm out.
Yep. Thank you everyone for joining today's stream too. Fantastic turnout so far.